Hey guys, Sal here with AES Tech Support. We're standing in front of a Pro 2. I just received a replacement board for the unit, and I'm going to go over how to replace the board and where the wires go. So the first step that we need to do is to remove this cover here. And once we remove the cover, you'll see that there's a series of wires here, and I'm going to go over what wire goes where and how to replace them. Normally what I tell people is just to label the wires as you pull them out so you don't have to trace them back, but I'll give you a way of tracing them back that'll be relatively easy. Okay, here's our new Wi-Fi assembly board, the replacement board, and we're going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to go over the connections here. So your first connector here is going to be for your speaker. Your second connector is for your microphone. The third connector is for your push button. We have a 24 volt connector here which goes out to the keypad, and the 12 volt connector here goes out to the push button also to power. And this is our input, your 12 or 24 volts in, positive and negative. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a dissected unit, and I'll start connecting these one by one. Okay, so what we have here is a unit that I've taken apart just to show you where all the wires go. It looks a little bit confusing, but it's very, very simple. We have a speaker. Okay, then after the speaker, the multi-ribbon cable is for your camera. Your green wires go to the push button. And we have the 12 volts wires that go to the push button for power. We have 24 volts, which comes out of the keypad into the unit. And then we have the microphone. So let's go and start connecting these to the board. So here's my replacement board. And the first connection that I'm going to make is my speaker, which go on slot 1. We're just going to make sure that we push that in. Okay, my next connection is going to be the microphone. So I'm going to grab the wire to the microphone. And that's going to go into slot 2. My next connection is going to be for the push button, and the push button wires are the green wires, a set of green wires. So we're going to pull these through so we're nice and neat. And that's going to go into input 3. Okay, my next will be the 24 volts coming from the keypad. Here's my 24 volts, and that'll go into 24 volts, and the board is labeled so you'll be able to see it. We'll push that into 24 volts. And last but not least is going to be my 12 volts coming from the push button. And that's this wire here. Now we can trace it back, of course. And we see it's coming from the push button. Okay, and the only thing left is my ribbon cable, which can only go in one spot, and that's right here. And this one you got to be careful with. It's a little bit hard to actually connect. So just make sure you seat it in properly. And those are our connections. Of course, they would go through this hole here. I just didn't go through the hole, so it'd be easier for you guys to see. We can replace the board back, put the board back in, screw it in. See that I didn't push this connector in correctly. We screw the board back in, and we would just connect the antenna that goes to the relic, which is this board here. And a lot of times what I normally do is I'll just pull that out so I can make this connection nice and easy. And that's all there is to it. And of course you want to organize the wires so that they look nice and neat. And now at this point we're ready to screw the board back in and start testing.